Differentiation. Differentiation is not an easy term to say, and it's an even harder term to apply, which is why most PTs don't differentiate, and they do things like pay for ads and struggle and wonder where their patients are and show up at CrossFit tournaments and fun runs with a table trying to show people all of their services, even though all of their services are the same thing that all of those patients have already been exposed to at a different physical therapist or a chiropractor or a massage therapist or even a personal trainer. So differentiation is hard to say and hard to do, but imperative to be able to pull off if you are going to be an elite clinician. And especially if you're going to be a successful clinician, successful enough to run your own clinic. So here's how we differentiate at 180 Physical Therapy. What's this? This is 6 pages of an 86-page United States patent. We have 2 of them. These are trademarks. We have 3 of them. So this is how we differentiate. By hanging things on the wall? No, because this is in a corner of our office that patients don't really walk past all that much anyway, so they wouldn't know what it is. The way we differentiate is to apply what this is talking about, apply the intellectual property that this protects, that I put together years ago and have been using every single day since I put it together over 19 years ago. So here's the differentiator. This process takes us from a functional screen. We don't assess symptoms. We don't do special tests. And my goal is not to come up with a diagnosis, because those are the things that suck people into the failed medical model by making you think that symptoms are the problem and therefore symptoms need to be treated and symptoms need a fancy name. They don't need any of that. What we do here is differentiate ourselves by doing absolutely nothing but assessing function. Gross ability to do certain things. Single leg squat, walk, reach over your head, reach behind your back, turn your head. A functional screen that takes less than 1 minute to tell you everything that you need to know about what your patient's body is doing and what, more importantly, it's not doing. Then we take that information and we put you on a table. And then we start using the intellectual property that this protects to assess individual muscles for neuromuscular function. So as we're going through and assessing neuromuscular function, we're going to find muscles that fail neuromuscular facilitation tests, which are completely different than manual muscle tests because we're not testing strength of a muscle group. We're assessing functional ability of one muscle as best we can to assess that one muscle to see if it is functioning. That's going to let us know why they couldn't do what they weren't able to do in the functional screen. More importantly, the other intellectual property that we have protected because we're differentiated from our competitors by patents, we have the ability to reverse the neuromuscular inhibition. So as we do that, patients' range of motion increases, even though we don't do passive range of motion. Their strength increases, even though we haven't done any strengthening exercises. Their pain decreases, even though we've done nothing to mitigate pain. And their swelling decreases, even though we've done no ice, elevation, or compression. So what we figured out, or what I figured out and put into the patent, is that if you do one thing, and that one thing is to normalize neuromuscular function, which unfortunately you didn't learn how to do in PT school. Once you learn how to do that, symptoms go away, which is why we don't waste our time assessing symptoms and giving people fancy names for diagnoses. So as we go through and work their entire body, reversing inhibition, reestablishing normal facilitation. After we do that, then we can get them off the table, redo our functional screen in 1 minute, and now the single leg squat test that they couldn't do before, they do with ease, with normal strength, normal stability, normal range of motion, and no symptoms. They reach over their head, they reach behind their back, they look over their shoulder. We go through the whole screen. Once they can do that, now we can say, okay, now what did we learn by getting to the root cause of your problem with the neuromuscular facilitation test? What muscles were most inhibited? We're going to give you exercises that bias those muscles moving through functional exercises. What's our definition of a functional exercise? Exercises that are weight bearing, that take you through the transverse plane, that focus on aplanar motion, that is multiple body parts, multiple joints, that is resisting falling into pronation and then exploding out into supination. So those are all of the things that we want to mix into our exercise progression that once again differentiates us from the PT that takes out the handout according to the diagnosis. Well, you have shoulder impingement, here's your 5 stretches and here's your 5 exercises. That doesn't work. You need to be assessing and treating your patient for their specific limitations and their specific needs for their home exercise program moving forward. So you see how different this is than conventional PT, chiropractic massage. Oh, and did I mention no stretching, no foam rolling, no manipulation, none of that stuff, no orthotics, no K-tape. We're going to fix the problem here and then give you strategies to help maintain what we did here, not go back and treat symptoms. So once again, we've thrown symptoms out the door. We're not focusing on symptoms. We're not trying to reverse symptoms. Another differentiator. So because we're doing something that's completely different than everybody else, and the students that go through the shift and do the 180 system are doing things that are completely different than somebody else, we and they don't have to pay for Facebook ads. We don't have to take lunch to physicians. We don't waste our times on weekends at fun runs and CrossFit events. We don't go to the local gym and beg them to send us patients. We stay in our clinic and do what we are good at, which is being clinicians and getting results and educating our patients as to why we are different and what we do and why we are differentiated from everything else that they've done. Those patients go get us more patients, and we just stay in our clinic and we continue being clinicians. So the key to being a successful clinician that gets insane outcomes and results with every single patient, no matter what their age is, their activity level is, whether they're chronic or acute, it doesn't matter, because we differentiated ourselves by applying science in a patented process that nobody else can do, which means nobody else is going to get our results, which means we don't have to market. So if you aren't differentiating yourself, you are just part of the mess of people that are fighting for patients. We don't fight for patients. We let them show up on our doorstep, we get them better, we educate them, and they do the rest. So if you're struggling as a clinician, if you're struggling as a clinic owner, the problem is you've fallen into the broken medical model. You haven't differentiated yourself. You're doing nothing different than anybody else is doing. So if you're a cash pay clinic and you thought, well, I'm just going to go cash because that's going to solve my problem as far as dealing with insurance, that might have solved that problem, but it gave you a whole bunch of other problems. And if you are giving patients the same product that they will get at a clinic where they are paying insurance, why are they going to come spend an hour to an hour and a half with you to pay you $200 to $250 for that visit when they can go to the clinic down the street and get the exact same treatment for 45 minutes and a $30 copay? You didn't differentiate yourself. All you did was expect your patients to spend more time and more money with you because you think that insurance is the root cause of your problem, which it is not. So when you're ready to differentiate yourself, when you're ready to use patented techniques that are protected, intellectual property that is the opposite of what you are using now, and you're ready to get rid of your broken toolbox that is keeping you stuck in the broken medical model, reach out to me and let me know, because I can get you in the shift and I can teach you how to do this in 4 months.